G'day Raiders family, it's Berkey and welcome to a bit of a false start last weekend, so my sincere apologies. I had some tech issues I could not overcome in time to launch my season last weekend in round one, but thrilled and excited to be back and joining you in a big 2023. For those that are new to my channel and program, my name's David Burke and I bring to you each week a pre-game review of the Raiders and their opponents for this 2023 season. I like to keep it light. I like to try and give you some intel about how I feel the game will go against our opposition each week, do some deep dives into our opposition, and also do a deeper dive into areas where I think we can unlock some weaknesses and exposures on the opposition to try and get the 2 points. So look, I love your commentary, love your feedback. I'm on all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. So any queries, hit me up and happy to have a chat either in a group forum or one-on-one. So don't hesitate to reach out and ask any questions that are burning in your mind and you want to get off your chest. So yeah, look, unlucky last weekend. I thought our intent I only saw half a game, but I thought our intent and our defence in the steam bath of Townsville was really, really impressive for the first game of the year. Having to go to Townsville, 4-hour flight from Canberra, 3.5 hours, is a long way. Very hot, very steamy. So I thought we came out of it really well. Seems like we've been at the Sunshine Coast all week, having a recharge, which is really good. So flying back to Canberra, then back up to the sunny coast or Redcliffe. So I think that's been a wise choice from Ricky, just to keep the boys in camp for a week, develop cohesion with some of the new guys as well, and just build some camaraderie, which we're going to need through the year. So I think that's a plus for us, not having to travel all the way back home and enjoying what's been some really beautiful weather up here in Queensland, or particularly Brisbane, for most of the week. So let's dive into the game tomorrow. It's an interesting one, playing at Dolphins Stadium, or KO Stadium, Redcliffe, which is about 45 minutes north of Brisbane. It's a really small boutique type of ground. The crowd are right on the players. It's a sellout. So we just got to be careful, as I get to over that, we take the crowd out of the game early, and the only way to do that is to score points, obviously. So if we can do that and keep our nose in front all day, it just takes that crowd, which affected the Roosters last weekend. Once the Dolphins got in front, they were hard to peg back because they literally had a 14th man in the crowd. So we just need to get in front early on the scoreboard just to keep that passion out of it. Look, I'm going to do three things around the Dolphins. I haven't really identified any players. I don't know much about their play as yet. I know the players, but just their main strengths and weaknesses. But what they will have is plenty of attitude. So they're going to be buoyed from last weekend against the Roosters. They're going to be certainly up for the game. So they're going to come out early and they're going to be confident. And that's going to be really important. We match that confidence as well with some smart plays. So they're going to have a good attitude. They're going to have a very simple game plan. They're not going to overcomplicate with flashy moves. They're going to do all the basics well, a quick play the ball, kick to the corners, support, 2 or 3 in attack and defence moving forward in both those areas of the game. So they're going to have a really simple game plan. I don't expect it to be overcomplicated the way they're going to play. Similar to last weekend, they're going to try and beat us with speed. They beat the Roosters last week with speed, with intent, and just working as a team together. The third one is belief. They're going to believe they can beat us. They certainly believed last weekend they can get the 2 points, and they did. So they're going to have that same belief that they feel they can do a hatchet job on us or an ambush to try and get the 2 points, because they're going to believe that they have the capabilities to do so. So that's going to be their main 3 areas of the game. Let's switch over to us. So what we need to do is have intensity. We are a well-drilled, well-balanced, and we've had a lot of these players playing together for a number of years. So we just have to keep that intensity up for 80 minutes. Some of the Dolphins players have not played lots of A-grade. Some have only played their first game last weekend. So they're not used to that week in, week out intensity of first grade. Most of our players are at least 25, 50 games plus. So we've got that DNA of intensity that we can bring to each game and make sure we have it for 80 minutes. Pressure. The Roosters applied no pressure last weekend because they kept coughing the ball up inside their half. We have to build pressure by making sure that we get to the Dolphins try line. If we can't score, we're getting them into a corner and then building our defensive pressure, getting up in the line quickly to really smash them back to make sure that they're kicking from the 20, 30 metre mark out to our side of the ground. So that's a big thing we need to have, is pressure consistently for 80 minutes to really wear the Dolphins down, who would not be used. Some of the players would not be used to that pressure on a week in, week out basis. Cohesion. Once again, we've been playing together a long time. The Dolphins are fairly new, so we need to have that cohesion around our play the ball, our inside runs, our defensive line pushing up as a pack in the unit, not having one-on-one or one guy shooting out first and keeping the others back. So our cohesion is really critical in beating the Dolphins. We've gone to the bench. I thought our bench last week went really, really well. I was very, very happy with Corey. Emre, I thought went well. Atta, as well as Tommy. So I think our bench far better than the Dolphins bench. And when these guys come on, they need to lift that bar. They can't just keep it the same level. They've got to lift the bar for the rest of the players to follow along with their enthusiasm and their momentum. So I think our bench can really play an impactful role tomorrow to really make a difference when Ricky goes to them. The kicking game. O'Sullivan for the Dolphins is really their only major kicker. Jamal and Jack left and right, which is really important. So I think our kicking game, to hem them into the corners. The Dolphins do not have a big back three running back out. They're very small. They're fullback and they're two wingers. So I really think we can do some damage with our kicking game to really hem them in. The Roosters' kicking game last week was dreadful. I think ours will be a lot better tomorrow to really put a lot of pressure on. The back three I just mentioned for the Dolphins, contrary to our back three, we got big bodies. Chris, Hopewade and Nick, we're probably 15, 20, 25, 30 kilos more heavier than the Dolphins back three. I think that area of our game tomorrow can really make a difference in our attack to get us on the front foot. So I'm expecting some big minutes and some big meterage gains from our back three to give us that edge, to get us in over the advantage line and put us in a good attacking position. Finally, number 10, I've got control. Earlier, it's going to be helter-skelter. There's going to be a lot of passion, a lot of noise around the ground. So I think we just got to play control footy, keep it very simple. Once again, I say it week in, week out, keep our errors to an absolute minimum against the Dolphins. If we just control the game to our level and our standard and not fall and not lower our standard to the Dolphins, I don't think the Dolphins can keep up last week's effort again this week for 80 minutes. I think they're going to have some lulls, and it's at those lulls that we need to control our tempo and really try and score points off the back of it. So Raiders fan, that is it for my first top 10 for the year. So excited to be back with you guys as always. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's game. I really think we're going to get the 2 points. And here's hoping for a fantastic green victory, guys. So once again, thanks for joining me. Reach out on the socials, as I said, to have a chat. And as always, this is Bourkeys, Bleed Green, out.